So right now the search is on for the additional suspects in the alleged attack targeting thousands of people at the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House on Sunday night. The DOJ says that the plan included, quote, using drones to drop explosives on fight watchers, forcing them to funnel towards locations where they were to have snipers waiting. A call to the police from the mother of the suspect all the way to the left here apparently helped thwart that plan. According to charging documents, the group wanted to jumpstart a revolution. Attorney Josh Ritter is here. First to correspondent David Spunt at the Department of Justice, or on behalf of the reporting that he does there live in Washington. Hi, David.
Hi, Martha. Scary story. Luckily, nothing happened. 5 are behind bars, but authorities say there are those others that they want to at least speak to. Now, these are currently the people that are facing these federal charges, serious ones. 19-year-old Tyson Proper on the left from Ohio, Brian Roa and Michael Thomas from California, Abraham Alvarez from Nebraska, and Daniel Eskridge from Missouri. Investigators tell Fox the alleged plan was to use those drones to force a mass evacuation. And then they say that there was a, quote, second wave, Martha, that was allegedly planning to storm the White House gate. One suspect allegedly told investigators the goal was to target, quote, capitalist elites, billionaires, or politicians who received donations from the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC. According to court documents, authorities seized several boxes of ammo from 19-year-old Proper and a rifle painted with the American flag. Now, Proper spoke to investigators and apparently spilled the beans on others allegedly involved in the plot via chat networks.
They had the violent intent and they were planning on doing it. And what matters so much is that even though clearly they weren't able to pull it off this time, if we had arrested those guys, God knows what would happen a month down the road, 3 months down the road.
And Vance was there in the crowd. One law enforcement source brief says officials believe that the most imminent threat actors are already charged in the case. There's no indication of a foreign nexus, but they do want to speak to the other people involved in the chat.
Okay, David, thank you. Let's bring in Joshua Ritter, former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney, and Fox News contributor. Joshua, your thoughts on this process? The mother turned in her son. She was suspicious about what he was up to. She saw ammo purchases. What can you tell us about the investigation?
Yeah, I read all of the charging documents, and it really reads like a masterclass in investigation. You're right. This all started with a tip from the mother, but the important part is that they took that seriously. They took it seriously enough to follow up on it, and from that, all of the other pieces started to fall like dominoes. They were able to get confessions, admissions out of Proper, who was the first individual that they contacted. He seemed like he operated in many ways like a mastermind of this group, if you want to characterize it that way. But they were able to, through a series of internet connections, that he really traced down his digital footprint to find out who else he was talking to. And this was more than just chatter, by the way. They were procuring ammunition, a large amount of ammunition, weapons, and they had a very elaborate plan, as you outlined, with this idea of using drones to create some sort of distraction, herding people into an area which would essentially become a kill zone. But the important part was that the FBI moved so quickly to prevent this, make apprehensions. Those that they did arrest quickly gave up other co-conspirators, and I think this is going to be an ongoing investigation, because even in their own charging documents, they talk about several upwards of 20 different other individuals that they know they had been in contact with and were certainly co-conspiring to take part in this terrorist attack.
Well, thank goodness that the mom blew the whistle and that the FBI took it seriously, as you say. Josh, thank you very much. Josh Ritter.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.